Hey, hello everybody. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum. I have my wonderful friend, Kodila Ghaffar. She is the author of Detached Love, her amazing book. And I am Ahmed Srefi, Arabic teacher, and also I wrote books about Arabic meditation, but we are going to talk today about dating Arabs and Muslims, tips and tricks. This is our first episode for today. We are actually going to talk about that. So what about that, Cordila?
So I'm trying to think, let's see.
Mhm.
I have questions for you.
Yeah.
If I'm interested in an Arab man, right,
Mhm.
who happens also to be Muslim,
Yeah.
like as far as I'm aware, you're not accessible, right?
Hmm.
Because you're Muslim. So in my mind, I think that you have to be set up by your sisters or your family, right?
Traditional marriage. Yes.
So like how do I even approach you?
So as a woman, that's, honestly, there's a lot of, I would say, conservative, mindset about this. But at the same time, nowadays, when we are talking about the modern Arabic and Muslim society, these days actually they are very open. Like we are talking about hundreds, or maybe, oh, not hundreds, tens of applications for dating Muslims applications. They started to make this accessible because, as you said, people are very shy to, to find, and also it's not so easy to find a Muslim, a decent Muslim husband or a decent Muslim wife. Sometimes, if you, whether you are Muslim in a new Muslim and you are somewhere that you don't have really friends and communities that you said, like your sisters and family can set up or find someone for you. That's back in, in our, like in old generations, like when we were just seeing that people were like simply find someone next door, like someone who is just living in the neighborhood, and just that's that's easy. But nowadays, people are selective. We are talking
Mm.
about the paradox of choice. This is the mindset of people, how they actually looking at kind of perfection, perfection or they are perfectionists and looking for that everything is perfect, and that's mainly what made Muslims, whether man or woman nowadays, have this issue because we have this same like any other community. I think that's why nowadays people are not the same like before, waiting for that kind of traditional marriage, because that was simply before technology, right? So technology, what do you think about now? Do you believe it is the same like after technology, like before?
Well, see, so what you're telling me right now is I need to get on a dating app. I don't actually do dating apps. So, but I'm hearing you say that the best place to start would be to get on a Muslim dating app. Is that correct?
Well, to be and not to be a little bit, because you have, yes, because there's so many issues. Like, to be honest, like I have been like long time somehow. I just was discovering this myself, and I found myself like, wow, like so many people are really have this dilemma or this issue about like not really serious about that. You know what I mean? So if you find, maybe you'll find someone serious, but you have to be careful and you have to be selective, but not in the degree that, like, as we were talking about, you have to be realistic. You have to set realistic goals about what you should putting in your profile, and that's something we are going to teach. We are going, me and you, coach about that, how to really express yourself, how to talk about yourself, and if you have a dating profile, how to really write very well about yourself. You shouldn't, put or write a big or long bio, but you at least have to be look serious, because as a man, and you are as a woman as well, when you see some profiles like, if you ever will have this access to any of this, or you saw this, you'll find some people who are just not, didn't write or don't write anything about themselves, and just, on this application for sharing and wasting time, and you know, or seeking attention or validation, maybe, you know. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's the case. So that's why you have to be for a short period of time, and we are going to talk for our in our further lives and talks about this, and at the same time when, and how and where, you know, to find those apps, and at the same time how to use them wisely, and how to, you know, also, and when to use them and when not to use them, okay, and where to start, because you don't have to start with dating apps. Actually, I found many women are so close to talk about themselves, like, you know, they should
Huh.
really, yeah, this should,
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna give you some feedback about that. Like personally, right? As a Muslim woman, so I'm divorced, I have children,
Mhm,
right? I'm a
mhm,
little bit older. So I'm aware that Muslim men have this idealistic, you're talking about being realistic on your profile, but they have this idealistic view. They
mhm,
want a woman who's 18, 100 pounds, never had kids, right?
yeah,
And I'm not that. I've lived a lot and I have kids and so like what would I put in my profile? I'm curious. Like this
that's
is this is why women are like a little bit closed.
exactly, because the expectations, exactly, this is what the yeah, you know, like very, very important questions, like, you know, we should really ask ourselves, like, how to be realistic, to set up goals that also realistic. Like, you cannot, like, I would say, if I, you know, if let's say, put myself in, you know, position, like, you know, if I were you, like, let's say, I have kids, and, you know, maybe I will try to find also someone who also has kids, and I will try
Mhm.
to, you know, or just, you know, not as many as my kids, you know, but like at least some kids, and then I will keep.
Shade, shade. That's what I'm talking about. See? That's what I'm talking about right there. I got a million kids. Like what man wants me?
Well, you know, you'll find. I believe, yes, it's like, and sometimes men, you see, that's a mindset. That's a misconception of the man mindset. Sometimes you like you, for example, is saying like, oh wow, so maybe, uh, uh, maybe if I put myself out there, maybe I will not find anyone. But you know, you never know, because sometimes men, you know, time for us is kind of humbling our, you know, kind of, you know, humbling us on our choices. And sometimes also, even for men, when they get a certain age or a certain time, they, well, they don't care about, you know, if a woman has kids or not, you know, or if that's true, you know, like speaking, from many of my friends, and many of, I live in Middle East, I live in Egypt, as you know, and I have many friends and have many colleagues living in other places, and some of them married, a married woman, or I mean, sorry, a divorced woman with kids. So they never have any issues, and they are happily married until now. So the issue is like sometimes people are afraid
Hmm.
of putting self out there. Like, you know, like same, like if a man has kids or a woman has kids, as you say, they are afraid of the social expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are afraid of the social expectations, we are limited ourselves. We have to find,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we give up, because like, oh, why, like you say, like what, how, where I would find someone like that, right?
Yeah, which I mean, I don't know. I mean, part of the reason I'm not on an app is I'm not really looking right now. Um, and as I think future, like I'm only getting older,
Oh,
right? So
you look amazing. You look, no, I mean, that's
thank
also
you.
another, yeah, seriously, like many people, well, honestly, men also, women all think that man is mainly always will look at her age. But you will
Mm,
find a lot of men, seriously, you'll find this is in real life, you find many men married, older women. Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he married Sayyidah Khadija,
hello, Hassan.
older than him.
Mm.
And many men looking at the Prophet Muhammad as a role model for sure. So men don't mind to marry an older woman. That's fact.
Oh,
It's not just,
okay.
yeah. And many people are think, like you see that That's what I'm saying. That's why people need to know more about dating apps and Muslims, because it's unlikely any other cultures. Because maybe other cultures they think about, maybe for older women or older men, it's not is not a potential or good match, right?
Hmm.
But you never know. You have to really understand the mindset of the Muslim man and a Muslim woman, an Arab man and Arab woman as well.
Interesting. I just learned something. Well, I am so excited that we've decided to have these conversations, and I look forward to learning like so much more. And who knows, maybe by the end of all this, I might actually you might actually get me to put myself on an app.
Absolutely. And you know what? And we are going to talk about how, if you have a bad marriage, how to solve
Mm,
it. If you have, even before the marriage, how to prepare yourself. Many people, when they get married, they don't find a decent advice or a decent or someone with experiences, or I'm talking from my humble experiences as well, and also from your side, and from our knowledge in philosophy, in meditation, in also relationships, in all that, and from our books, and also we really should share that with people. So because it's I would think it's a lifetime, lifetime advice. Like we you just we all are having expectations. We have dreams to be with someone that loves and cares about us, right?
yeah, yeah. I agree. And so, yeah, definitely that inner healing from previous relationship before entertaining the idea. You know, it's interesting because a couple of years ago, I was on the Single Muslim show on British Muslim TV. I kept getting this question, like, how soon after a divorce do you look to marry again? And I'm like, I
Oh.
kept answering in many different ways when you are healed, right? I think people so often focus on the you
Mhm.
can't be alone, and they don't
Get
think
some
about,
time. Yeah.
right, they don't give themselves time to heal. They don't look at what they don't learn from the mistakes that broke the other relationship. You know, they don't look at their responsibility in that, right? I mean, even if like it's always unequal with humans, right? Someone's going to be more of something than the other one, and both
Mhm.
are responsible, right? And so being willing to take the responsibility for who you are being in a relationship, and honestly look at, are these ways of being serving you?
Absolutely. Like I also find something recently, like when people are not flexible, like the most successful element in any relationship, even in Muslim marriage, like when God says for Muslims, like وأزواج وآباء وأزواج يدخلون جنات عدن. When you are having the paradise, and malaika يسألونهم or يقولون سلام عليكم بما صبرتم, like God rewarded you or gave you that Jannat Adan, this paradise, because you were patient in dunya, in life. So patience and flexibility, and to be more open to be criticized, or to be I would say to change yourself, because I know that many people, like I would say, well, men or women equally, sometimes when they get married, they have to adjust a little bit themselves for a new life, with
Mhm.
a new partner who's completely someone who is different, psychologically, maybe mentally, emotionally. So you have someone in the culture as well, for sure. If you are non-Muslim and you are getting, or you are going to marry a Muslim, or if you are in let's say in culture, in let's say in certain culture, and you're going to marry someone from a different country, so that's things that people should understand and consider. You have to be more flexible about that.
Yeah, I agree. It's like patience and flexibility is so super important. Um, especially when you're talking about sharing your life with someone,
Mm.
you know, it's such a like this person gets to see you before you're even ready to walk outside your door, you know, and how often do we wake up and, you know, maybe we're not in a, you know, like sometimes I wake up, I'm in a dark place, you know, and I don't necessarily want to share that with anyone, but yet, you know, there's your spouse, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And this is an opportunity not to just go within, but you can communicate. You can say, "Look, I'm in a dark place today. Don't try and save me," you know?
yeah, yeah.
And it's so simple and not many words, but how often do we not say that, right? But what happens instead? Don't talk to me, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. And people are a little bit, that's arrogance, you know. And even God says that arrogance, it's a sin, you know. And we should really be far from being arrogant and far from being ignorant about, you know. And we should more to open ourselves to understand and to discover more about our partner, to see what makes you happy as a wife or as a husband, you know. And
Because
yeah,
I don't know how to say this in Arabic, but it's like there, you know, there's the saying, there's one part of you, of the human, that if it's in good energy, right, is the heart.
exactly.
And so this is what, you know, when we're talking about healing yourself and being prepared for marriage, you know, or remarriage, then it's like really spending some time with the condition of your own heart.
Because what you had been through, or like the kind of experiences that you had before, and you know what actually in psychology that they say that post-traumatic disorder for relationships, you have like this is everywhere. You have even once in your life you have a trauma from a bad relationship or toxic one, or you know a divorce, or you know had this before, I had this before, so you need to, like you said, to heal yourself first, and to make sure that you're already completely or almost, because no one, you know, can, to be honest, like no one is completely healed. We all have some, you know, things going on and just inside of us.
And
Yeah.
you know, to be clear, like PTSD doesn't mean that there was something really like violent that happened. It could just
Oh,
simply be the breaking. You know what I
emotion.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just and so, you know, you don't want to diminish any infraction that has happened to your heart. You have to honor that and really give it time and space. We have access to so much as Muslims, right? Ibn Taymiyyah, and he talks about the diseases of the heart and then the purification of the heart, you know, with Al-Ghazali, and we have who again? Uh,
We had Al Ghazali in Alchemy of Happiness. We were just talking, you know, some time ago in this wonderful workshop about self love we did together. We were talking about the alchemy of happiness and how, you know, al nafs, al aql, al badan, the soul and the mind and the body are all connected. And you have to fulfill your desire for all, for body especially. And you have to admit that. You have to admit that you have a desire, because many people, that's why make people like kind of not looking for the marriage, especially in Arab and Muslims, you know, they are a little bit shy, whether are women and men, and some of them like they leave that for the family, and they don't look but for themselves. You know what I mean? That's why they end up eventually with traditional marriages, or and many people, well, at least some of them are successful, some of them are not. But you know, you choose your partner by yourself, and you
but
know,
I think when it comes to remarriage, aren't we supposed to pick our own? Like the first time
yeah,
around, that's one thing, but I think when you marry again, and I also want to just state a disclaimer here. We are not like uh scholars when it comes to this. We're just simply, talking from years of personal experience and working with our own clients,
Yeah.
and then of course separately studies with psychology and philosophy around this.
Psychology and philosophy.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So don't ask us like as, like
And we are not,
alam,
yeah, and we
not
are
as
not judgmental.
alam.
It's true. We're not alim, and we are not judgmental, because I know that's and is also everyone has his own experience, and it's different for sure. But like, well, we just trying to help people like to go or to when they are going through this breaking up or a bad marriage or they want to remarry again, but at the same time they don't know whom they ask. Sometimes we just go and try to find anything's online. We can just go to ask Google whatever, but then just it's just this artificial intelligence. It's AI. It's not human. You are basically talking to AI or ChatGPT maybe. I don't know if
Right. Talking to robots to find out things about our hearts and
yeah,
our
yeah,
emotions
so
and,
that's crazy, and that's why people doing these days. Like you can find an this search engine. You can find some people are looking for this online, and there's no one has experienced it for sure. Then more than people actually went and also studied this. So like Cordelia and and I and we together.
yeah, or separately first, but now together. So, the research part. Um, yeah. So, do you have any questions for me? I'm just curious.
I actually want to ask you as a woman. Uh, well, like what is a major or well, let's say like a deal breaker for any woman? I mean, I know that's the difference, but what is the most common deal breaker for women in a man as a Muslim man? Besides to
Hmm.
be religious and to pray and to be like, I'm talking about his manners and his, characteristics for you, for example, if that's okay with
Yeah.
his personal questions, maybe. No.
And just so we're clear, I'm not like this is not for the purpose of me vetting anyone, but I'm just gonna say, really his way of being, right? His capability to be kind and compassionate and uh open and communicative, because I really find that is a struggle for, many Muslim men. They not good listeners.
Mm,
Hmm. And then and the other side of that is like, listening is a kindness, right? Listening is a charity, and listening is just the opening of communication and willingness. And when I say listening, I mean like not just deep listening, but listening to understand my heart, right? Listening to understand my pattern of thinking, and and then honoring my intellect. So those are super important, I think, not just to me but to any woman, you
yeah,
know
yeah, I believe so. I feel that's because I also have sisters, as you know, and they're married. I think that's most maybe I believe as a man also it's very important quality and to be in a woman, for a man.
to be kind.
Be kind and to be because God says وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. I created between you both al-mawadda, which in Arabic means compassion and kindness, and ar-rahma means mercy. So you
Hmm.
have to be merciful and kind. And you have to understand this is a human, just as some like a human being like like he's not a perfect man and she's not a perfect woman, and you have to accept each other this way. And this is love. I feel like this is a love, this true love, that you have to accept all that imperfect things, or the imperfections, and the perfections in her.
Mhm.
You know, that's what I
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know, this is another thing that I think humans skip over because they're looking for that perfect person, and it's like
Idealistic, very idealistic.
we're humans.
Never
Like,
existed, as a man, I never saw, I would never expect either, like, to have someone's, because I'm not perfect. Why I'm looking for someone is perfect? The only God is perfect. Allah huwa al-kamil. So you cannot find someone is perfect, because otherwise it's like he's not human. Because God basically never created anyone as as perfect. Otherwise, we are not human. So I think it's something like I found, honestly, this is something that we should really talk about it, how to set goals so well to achieve a very good marriage, even before getting to be with someone, how to get a good one, whether a
mhm.
man or woman, how to get a very decent man, or not very good, but a good decent man, at least, and a good decent woman, and not to set up this very idealistic um, expectations that we found, or we talked about, that's like they are exist everywhere, like in when people are talking about marriage, they want to have like someone is the most perfect in everything, which
Well, okay, so let's just be idealistic for a minute. So
yeah,
like in my dream world, right?
yeah,
So I want someone tall and handsome and
uh,
smart
yeah.
and respectful and what willing to do whatever I want. You
Well,
know?
yeah,
Um and um and let's see what else. And cooks, good cook.
yeah.
I love to cook, but I like to be cooked for.
Well, which is nice, like it's just the issue about Arab men and Middle Eastern. They're
They're
very
not
bad.
gonna cook.
They don't, why, how, you say this to me? Well, it's honestly, it depends on the man, as I say, like as you will see this yourself when fatrat khutbah or khutuba, when you have this period of engagement. And to be honest, I don't like it. I don't recommend it. And this is something we should really talk about it. Like, when you have engagement period, because I know in Middle Eastern, like for example, in many of Arab countries, like in Egypt, for example, in Algeria, you get a lot of people, have went like engaged, like not even once or twice, like 5, 6, 7 times, women or men. It's crazy, because also the period of engagement or khutuba, it's very long, and you don't need that long time. I mean, this is my point of view. You don't need so long time, because it's like a long distance,
Hmm.
like a long distance relationship, because you are at your home and he is at home. Okay, you don't meet, and you have we say the excitement of beginnings, or whatever they say, like, that
Right.
get that, wow, he's amazing, he's the one that I'm looking for. And then, well, you get some issues and difficult time with this person, and maybe because you are not together, and then you get
Hmm.
fight, and that's like a long distance now, because you are both are not in the same house. And I think that's why something I found interesting, because many people who will like have the longer engagement time, or longer times they get engaged, that's the quicker they separate.
I can see that because, energetically, right? So now I'm going to move away from like the Islamic traditional, and go more into my like woo-woo side. So like energetically, you need to be in the same space is what I'm hearing you say with the person that you're
Yeah,
interested in. You got to spend time together. And I guess when it's a remarriage situation, I don't know that you need to be supervised. Maybe it's
Sure.
safer to be supervised. But like as much time as you can spend in person so you really understand the nuances of their communication so you don't, have heated discussions.
And also it's in religion, because Prophet Muhammad says, "انظر إليها لكي يؤذن بينكما." You have to look at her, not just looking at her like you just look at her face, but لكي يؤذن بينكما. No, you have to sit and look and talk to her, so you will get match it, or you'll get align it, or you will see if this will work or not, or this is a one for you or not. So you cannot just, this is the issue of traditional marriage in Middle East, and that's something also I hope, like, also hopefully, like, parents will just try to understand, because you cannot control your daughter or your son or something like that, because it's like, you have to let this choice to him. And sometimes Middle Eastern countries, like, especially, I got a lot of clients and students, like, they told me, like, uh, yeah, family always get involved in this, and once the involvement of families, boom, the marriage is over.
It stops, yeah.
That's sad. That's very sad, and I think as a man or as a wife or as a husband, as a wife, you should not, this is one of our tips, like, you should not really get your family involved, and try to just have a limit or boundaries with them, especially
Boundaries, yeah.
with
You
your
have to be a stand for your relationship.
sacred,
Um,
sacred relationship.
yeah, it's
Sacred is
yeah.
something from God. So you cannot just put the family, for sure, family is sacred relationship too, but that's something else. What you have to really be careful, because this is sacred and private
Hmm.
relationships. I see, like, this is also so many of, I'm not saying only wives, but also husbands in Middle East or in Arabic or Muslim countries, they like always reveal all the secrets, which is prophets also said about the
Yeah.
secrets in marriage should be only in home, like, just cannot be between more than two. You cannot just do that to your wife or to your husband. So
Yeah. And I also want to say, like, not in Muslim culture, but like in my culture, right? So my grandmother's Native American, and so she always said that the eyes are the mirror of the soul. So this looking in the eyes is so important, so that you know who you're with. And
yes.
if someone's looking away often, right? We
Wow.
I wonder, like, so tell me about that. I'm wondering, like, in Arab culture, what it is about
Look,
yeah,
we have to do a lot of workshops about this, because we have the amazing Andalusian, the first philosopher, I would say, in the first, maybe, according to the psychologist,
7th century.
in
Mm.
11th century, even,
Oh,
Ibn Hazm al-Andalusi, and his book Ring of Dove, one of his amazing masterpieces of philosophy, and he was talking about the philosophy of love and
mm,
Islamic love, and he was
hmm,
mentioning first, what you say, actually, what your grandmother said. It's actually the ancient wisdom, and it's even older than just, even more to be just an ancient, because you have also some wonderful prophets Muhammad hadith. Actually, Ibn Hazm al-Andalusi, he puts, or he included in his intro in the book, and he said, الأرواح جنود مجندة، فمن تعارف منها ائتلف ومن تنافر منها اختلف. I will translate. So he said that the souls, like, to be try to translate, because the Arabic, it's old Arabic, so is like soldiers. So, and if you once they get aligned, or once they get together aligned, they will never, like, separate, just like soldiers. When you have, like, soldiers are like connected in the war, like they are coming together, going together. You cannot separate, or otherwise, like, you know. So he said أرواح جنود, and ومن تنافر منها اختلف. And if you find they don't have this chemistry, you know, like they are not aligned, or they are, you know, so they will they will definitely be separated. There's no way. And he says العين هي مدخل الروح, you know, the eye is a gate to the soul.
Oh, okay. So maybe, there is evidence that Muslims came to North America before, like everybody else, and there's also traces of the Islam or Islam and Native American cultures. So maybe that's originally where it comes from. So, and I'm gonna sidebar here and make a little bit of joke because I think we're being super serious. Not that I mind being super serious. I question a little bit of your translation because like earlier, I know a little bit of Arabic, so you don't know this about me.
Sure.
So like, you said the word malaki, right? Doesn't that mean like angels? No,
What I said, what
not just now. This was
malak,
many,
malak,
yeah,
malak is mean angels. Malak
malak.
or malak
Yeah,
is angel,
right.
and malika is a queen.
Me-
Different.
Oh, malika.
Malika,
Okay.
malika is a queen, and malak
Mhm.
is an angel.
Oh, okay. So I
They
had
get
the accent wrong. Okay.
no. Actually, people, most of Arabic learners and even they get confused between two. Sometimes even native speakers, you know, when they
Hmm.
even write this malak or malak, they also miswrite this. So don't worry, you know, it's very common
Mistake. Okay.
even for us.
Cool. I'm glad that we get to teach a little bit Arabic during.
Wow, yeah, and definitely we will talk more about the body language. And the
Mhm.
body language is important, especially the Arabic body language. I actually teach this. That's what is one of my books, and I make workshops about that. And I found that many people joining this, and I know that's people like whether they are working in Arabic countries, or you know that some of them who are actually married have significant others from Middle East or Arabs. So I found this is one of the things that people have a lot to learn more about it, because it's like the body language is completely different, and that's
Yeah, I'm
speak
I'm so
why.
curious about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We are going to make more intensive you know, coaching series, or like, you know, relationships, especially for Arabs and Muslims, women and men, you know, equally, because they can all join us. And we are going to have more than, you know, just one series, because we are going to talk about before marriage, while you are married, even after, even divorce, you know, after divorce,
Mm,
and even breaking up, whether you know, if you are married or even before marriage, how to solve that
okay,
from
let's
Muslim
do
and
it.
our perspective as well, because we know that you don't find this information everywhere, because it's not easy to find someone who is like Cordelia and I. We are actually talking from our heart first, and from our own experience, from, you know, and besides, we are open to talk about it. As many people
Yeah,
are, you know, hesitant to talk about it, right?
that's the main part. People are not open, yeah, to talk about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So thank you so much, Cordelia, for coming. If you have any, if anyone and also has any questions, please, you can write in the comment section below, or even you can contact us and email us for, inshallah, more educational series we are going to make together. And
Yeah.
do you have anything to say or add?
No, I'm really excited for the conversations that we'll have, and the many people will help, and the relationships that possibly get created now that they have more information. So
Yeah,
yeah, thank you for proposing this idea to me and for this collaboration.
you inspired me with your wonderful book also. And I, and speaking from, like the body language. And also I wrote, by the way, a book about Arabic love language. That's like
Mm.
the idioms and expressions that you can share with your lover. So some of my students also inspired me with the same idea, with your idea, and then also before my other students, they inspired me with that. So, and here we are, we're doing this together. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a
And
great time. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.
thank you.